Episode 91. Is it really a ticket? The leader of Puncheon was sitting by the window and looking outside. In the yard, Seo Honmazan Kyongseon was practicing martial arts. After officially becoming a Subsulmazan, my training time decreased, but my skills were improving day by day. She definitely had a talent for soul-searching. The leader of Puncheon, who had been watching Kyongseon's training while fiddling with his dagger all year round, habitually looked back. There were empty cabinets where sacred items had been placed. The leader of the Puncheon church sighed. When he received the dagger, he said it would be okay to use it as a sacred item, but now the only sacred object in his room was the old iron dagger in his hand. In a sense, all of those sacred items were exchanged for this one dagger. No. Let's not live a life looking back anymore. Emptiness must be replaced with relief. In the past, would you have been able to go out for a cup of tea somewhere because you were so worried? But now I can wear this dagger at my side and go anywhere. They say that you have to empty yourself to become free, and that was absolutely true. Yes, I think like this. Meanwhile, Kyongseon completed his training. Master, then I will leave for today. Good work. Kyongseon, who was about to turn away, came back and said the words he had hesitated to say. Master. Why are you doing that? When are you going to teach me Master's true secret techniques? Master Puncheon had not yet passed on his secret techniques. Kyongseon. Yes, Master. Why are you in such a hurry? It's because I'm weak. Because I am weak, I naturally become anxious. She killed her brother and ascended to the position of Majin. At first, all of Seo Wonjin's magicians were crazy about her, but now she felt that her popularity was slowly cooling down. These days, I was under pressure to show some overwhelming martial arts skills to the magicians. Moreover, he did not like Cao Zhong, who tried to meet him every chance he got. I liked him so much, but when he got to the position of Majin, I hated him like a lie. Every single action was annoying. I really wanted to cut him off, but I kept seeing him occasionally because I was afraid he might start spreading strange rumors. She was so distraught that she even thought that she might kill him. What kind of Mason do you want to be? I don't even have time to think about such extravagant thoughts. Would you be able to fall asleep with this skill? If you are ambitious and talented and train hard for 30 years, you will become me. How do you feel? What your future looks like? For a moment, Kyongseon flinched. I think I have to work 10 times harder than I do now. Kyongseon was worried that he had made a pointless joke, but fortunately, the leader of Puncheon smiled and accepted it cheerfully. Couldn't you have given me at least 5 times as much? I'm sorry. I originally meant to say 20 times. As I was leaving, I joked one more time and the leader of Puncheon laughed even louder. It was the first time they had exchanged jokes since they met. Kyongseon saw a new side of the Puncheon religious leader. I thought he was just a stuck-up person. It was unexpected. Yes, you have eyes and ears to hear, so you probably know what I've been through and what the situation is. I didn't tell her directly. But she probably already knows enough. He gave up his position as a religious leader and joined hands with Jia. What does she think of herself? I know that deep down you feel sorry for me. No. You made a choice I could never have made. So it's even more pathetic, right? That gives me more respect. The reason I brought this up is because I wanted to say that martial arts are important, but other things are more important. What is that? It's people. To be precise, it is the eye that sees people. Yes. You were thinking this right now, right? You sound like a human and fell asleep. No, Master. It would have been the same for me. So it's okay. Absolutely not. As the Puncheon religious leader stared at her, Kyongseon revealed her true feelings. I think that if martial arts is weak, everyone is useless. Because eventually they will all leave. I'm sorry to say this, but I still think martial arts is more important than people. Yeah, I thought so too. One day you two will understand me. Yes. All right. What do you know? He was like that too. At that age, no matter who told me, I didn't listen. You will be captivated by something like a sword dance, and every time you turn around, your passion will disappear, and you will be dragged around with shackles wrapped around your neck, and then you will realize that everything your master said at that time was correct. Only then will you realize that killing people or martial arts skills is important, but in reality, how you see people is 100 times more important. I'll see your accomplishment soon and move on to the next step. Thank you, Master. Kyongseon left there smiling happily. When I first took Kyongseon as my disciple, I thought of him as just an ambitious, poisonous bitch. At the time, I was so preoccupied with other things that I couldn't think deeply about Kyongseon. I wondered if I would really be able to give her a lot of affection, but as I was teaching her, I started to develop a kind of affection for her. Especially recently, after being bullied around by smart people, I feel relieved to have someone who can nag me and act like an adult. But even for a moment. Not long after she left, she had a visitor. It was the Grand Duke Jeomuyang. I came here because I wanted to see the leader. I'm sorry for not sending you a message in advance. It's okay. Please come in. Jeomuyang sat across from the leader of Pungcheon. I was so busy that day that I couldn't say hello properly. It was the same for me, so don't worry. I heard that you have become very close with my brother. There were many twists and turns. It must have been a great opportunity for Mujuk. In reality, it wasn't like that. What do you mean? My brother was so smart that I had a lot to learn from him. The Pungcheon religious leader talked about his own suffering, but Jeomuyang misunderstood that the Pungcheon religious leader was talking about Jeomujuk in high regard. My brother is smart. He was the smartest person I've ever seen. Hyalkian Doma said he moved his heart, and Pungcheon Gyoju said he was the smartest person he had ever seen. Are you smart yet have a charm that moves your heart? Until now, Jeomuyang didn't think that such compliment suited her younger brother well. Anyway, what are you doing if you're busy? Isn't the Archduke the busiest person in the Heavenly Demon Church? Please help make it happen in reality. Because I'm a person who likes being busy. Jeomuyang spoke bluntly. If you join hands with me, I will grant you the two things you want most. When the Pungcheon religious leader heard it, he realized that it was really the two things he wanted the most. And the whole time I was listening to the story, one person came to mind. The head of Pungcheon came to visit Gowol. What about this scientist? You haven't returned yet. Perhaps because there was no sword dance, the leader of Pungcheon was grumpy at Gowol for no reason. If I'm here all alone, is it any different from being shackled? You keep saying that because you haven't been shackled. Would you like to be tied up once? That's enough. Even if it was the same joke, I felt more at ease than before. Look. I have one favor to ask. Please speak. Can't we just talk comfortably when it's just the two of us? Gowol looked at him for a moment and then opened his mouth. It's the leader. Okay. This is it. You gave up that important religious position for me, so how could you not grant me this favor? I just have some concerns. What? I like it now, but what will I do if I hate it later? If you hate me, you will start thinking like this. If this little bastard speaks informally, it's going to be really annoying. At that point, the relationship was destroyed anyway, so what does it matter? I lost you anyway. At that moment, Gowol's heart was turbulent. I really hated this person a lot, but there is no one who likes me as much as this person. Okay, good. Don't regret it later. The regrets are mine. Do not worry. Why did you come today? I probably didn't come here to say this. I just came to see you. Gowol, who was quietly examining the head of the Pungcheon church, suddenly spoke. The Archduke came to visit, right? At that moment, the leader of Pungcheon flinched. How did you know? I thought so. Is this something like that? Are you acting smart by secretly spying on me and finding out? You are all fraudsters, right? The leader of the Pungcheon church looked as if he was going to say all these things. What did the Archduke do for you? He promised to advance to the midfield if he joined his side. Li Gongjae said that he would establish a branch if it were more than what he had promised. It is a promise that cannot be kept. It's a lie. Why are you so neat? The Grand Duke is a person who unconditionally obeys everything his father says. Like Li Gongjae, he is a person who has no abnormalities at all. Following his father's will, he will never allow Pungcheongyo to advance into the Central Plains. If the Grand Duke becomes the demon of heaven, Pungcheongyo will never be able to put up even a palm-sized plaque in this central plain. You are being biased in your judgment because you are on Li Gongya's side. Gowol ignored the words of the Pungcheon religious leader and asked a question. What else did you suggest? There were no other suggestions. Then, Gowol's eyes towards the leader of the Pungcheon church narrowed. Don't look at me like that. Because there were no conditions attached. Whenever you lie, you get marked. There are votes. How? Gowol didn't say anything. Instead, he correctly guessed Jiomuyang's suggestion as if what he said was true. You bet on me, right? The leader of Puncheon opened his eyes. How did you know? You promised to send me back to the cult leader. If it's a proposal that shakes the religious leader, that's the only way to do it. The leader of the Puncheon church was honestly attracted to the Archduke's proposal. What if we could just get Gowol back? It may sound crazy, but I thought I might give up on advancing to the midfield. I thought that the Archduke was amazing as he shook his heart by even throwing down his position as a religious leader. The Archduke is also very smart. The Archduke is not a smart man. A really smart person wouldn't fight with a scientist. You two are sick. Li Gongjiao disease. So what did you say? Don't worry. Because I flatly refused. Don't lie. The cult leader is probably trying to figure out how to take advantage of the conflict between the two to get me back. He came to see me because he thought there was no way. After being silent for a moment, the Puncheon religious leader asked, Is it really all tickets? It's the leader. Why do you keep forgetting? You said it clearly with your own mouth, right? I can't stand these smart guys. Why are you talking like that and trying to make a fuss again? That's right, it's because of you. If you do this, you will lose me forever. The leader of the Puncheon church sighed. Sorry. Even though I knew, I acted like an idiot again. You have to fight with different strengths. You have to use your other charms as weapons to fight against a brainy guy. Where is my charm? If the cult leader wasn't attractive, I would still be shackled. The Puncheon cult leader's eyes trembled slightly. You're the only one who says this. No. It's because the leader only sees me. That's because he sits on the throne and looks down on his opponent. Now, if you come out into the real world and show what kind of person the leader of the cult is, there will be a line of people who will say this. At that time, the religious leader might say something like this about me. Oh, those shackles back then? Do you want to survive well? You're talking nonsense. The two people looked at each other and smiled. Sir, think of me as a bonfire. Stand a little distance away and light the fire. If you get too close to me, I'll burn you and get charcoal black all over you. The leader of the Puncheon church silently nodded and said, Don't remember me as the leader of that cult back then. Gowol also felt trembled. Even sword dance couldn't give me this kind of emotional impact. Sir, from today onwards, say this 5 times before you go to bed. What kind of words? He is a master of science until the end. He is a master of science until the end. Go ahead. The remaining 3 times were filled by the Puncheon religious leader. Despite my words, I shouted this in my heart. I'm jealous of you, I'm jealous of you, I'm jealous of you, you bastard. Still, I felt fortunate to have Gowol. Because I felt closer today than when I was shackled and placed next to you. It seems like he has a compatibility with relying on someone. To be honest, I felt like I could be burned to death in a bonfire. Episode 92 The Power of Words is Scary. When I returned to my residence after finishing my martial arts training, Gowol was reading a book in his room, and Puncheon was standing in the yard looking up at the night sky. His mood was quite different from when I first saw him. He definitely felt calmer somehow. When did you come? I came to see your precious soldier, so you don't have to worry about waiting too long. Did you enjoy seeing this precious soldier? I just got scolded. Well, that won't work. How dare you scold the religious leader? I will hand over that military scolding. Don't say anything you don't mean. Because what you said is even more disgusting. I grinned and he smiled happily too. I waited on purpose to see you. What's going on? The Archduke came to visit me. I was waiting to tell you in person that I never wavered. Oh, I'm really touched. Yes, I should be impressed. What good conditions did the Archduke offer? I rejected it all. Thank you, leader. I did not ask what conditions were proposed. Then I'm leaving. They say you shouldn't be lazy in times like this. The emotion is half-hearted. Yes. You're right. It would have been perfect if you hadn't even said this. Is it? The leader of the Puncheon church smiled awkwardly. I had a very deep connection with this person. I think we will have a deeper relationship in the future. Perfect. When I snapped my fingers, Punchin and I were standing in the middle of a green field. The leader of Punchin was surprised. You have completed the space-time anomaly technique. The leader of Punchin looked around. The tall trees, the grass swaying in the wind, and even the winding country road leading to the mountains in the distance. It's perfect. Thanks to you for teaching me great martial arts skills. You are probably the first person to complete the space-time anomaly technique so quickly since it was created. You have no idea. I trained for so many years to create this space. I was lucky. Don't be humble. There's really no need to be humble about this. The leader of Punchin Church showed that he has grown through the recent storm. He grabbed my hand sharply. Congratulations. I also expressed my sincere congratulations. Thank you. At least within this space, the leader is my teacher. You really? The leader of the Punchin Church was speechless. Oh, and I have one question. You tell me. Is it possible to make the time flowing in space-time anomaly different from the time in reality? The question is, can you make time pass more slowly than outside? The head of Punchin opened his eyes and looked at me. Why do you look at me like that? In the past, I would have definitely been like this. Hey you idiot, does that make sense? What now? You idiot, does that make sense? I laughed and the leader of Punchin also laughed and told me about it. Actually, I've had that thought too. Actually do some research. But it was impossible. I thought about it several years after completing the space, but you think of it as soon as it's completed. First of all, it meant that there was no secret recipe that had been passed down. To achieve this, I will have to study and think about it again when my martial arts level has risen further. I understand what you are saying. Now, let's solve the space. Just a moment before that. Are you serious about what you said earlier? This means that they think of me as their teacher here. I'm serious. Then please open this space occasionally. When will I have the opportunity to be your teacher in my life? Yes, I will. It was perfect to see the Punchin religious leader's face brighten. I snapped my fingers and we were back to reality. Then proceed carefully. The leader of Punchin Church, who was walking a short distance, suddenly turned around and shouted. I'm a scientist until the end. Then, I chuckled as I watched him disappear into the darkness as if he was embarrassed. Does the leader of Punchin have such a cute side? Well, a person with that kind of heart must have been able to leave everything behind. Mabul was very angry. It was understandable that Jiao Muyang visited Hyolkian Doma earlier. Anyway, there was something I had to resolve with him. But I couldn't bear to go all the way to Punchin Bridge. Even though he clearly saw the war of nerves between himself and the leader of the Punchin Church, he went to see him. Grand Duke. Yes, old man. You met the leader of Punchin. Yes. We met to attract them to our side. He answered so calmly that it was impossible to get angry. Moreover, there was definitely a reason. If we bring in the leader of the Punchin cult, wouldn't even the Soul Mason naturally be on our side? That's how we met. What did the leader of Punchin say? I said I would think about it. Jiao Muyang didn't talk about him anymore. Mabul wondered how to bring up the story and convey his feelings without hurting Jiao Muyang's feelings. In the end, I gave in and started with an apology. It was my mistake to call you Nan Xuangue. What do you mean? I guess my thoughts were short-lived. Those people should not have been dragged into the Archduke's affairs. I know very well that it came from your heart for me. Thank you for thinking that way. After all, Confucius has a big heart. Instead, we should set one thing straight. What do you mean? You said you brought Yunnan Shuangui into my work, but strictly speaking, it's not my work, but yours. Jiao Muyang clearly drew a line. He was on his way to becoming a successor. I didn't want to have even the slightest connection to trash like the Yunnan twins. Mabul wondered if he had to go this far, but he hid his expression. Oh, I made a mistake for a moment. That's right, the Yunnan Twingoi thing is my job to the last extent. Of course I know you called them for me. So don't worry too much. Jiao Muyang smiled first, and Mabul smiled along with her. The conversation ended with a smile, but Mabul's heart was not refreshed. There was a problem, but it was even more so because I couldn't tell if it was my problem or Jiao Muyang's problem. When Mabul left Jiomuyang's residence and returned to his own residence, someone was waiting for him. Surprisingly, he was a sword dancer. Gongya? I was waiting because I wanted to see the elderly. Me? Why? Mabul was nervous inwardly. I was worried that he might be trying to kill me in a place where no one was around, so I secretly increased my power. However, the reason why the sword dance came was very unexpected. Would you like to go and have a drink with me? Drinking with me? Also from the author. If it had been any other day, I would have immediately turned it down out of concern that there would be a rumor that the two were flirting. But today's Mabul was not the usual Mabul. Of course. There's nothing you can't do. If Jiomuyang meets Hyolkian Doma and Punctuan cult leader, doesn't he also have the chance to meet Jiomuyjuk? Rather, I hope that this matter would reach Jiomuyang's ears. Gong Li, you are a very lucky person. I can't believe you came to visit me on a day like this. I think this is my first time walking side by side with an elderly person like this. Don't act like we're friends for nothing. A normal person would have walked quietly even if it was out of embarrassment, but that was not the case in Jiomuyjuk. I will never have a chance to walk with the elderly like this, so if I don't act friendly in times like this, when will I? Please understand if I act excited today. You tricked Thomas like this too. Yes, that's right. I knocked on the door endlessly. Door. The door to the heart. Mabul snorted and suddenly wondered if Jiomuyang had ever knocked on his door. Then, I quickly calmed down and controlled my mind. No matter how much you say, Mr. Li, I am not a monkey that falls from a tree if you shake it like a cutting board. The place the two arrived was a pub in Regression. Even though the sword dance did not introduce him, Zhou Chunbae recognized Mabul at a glance. He wasn't embarrassed. He changed after receiving Kionma as a guest. Even if the Murim Lord and the Apostle Lord came at the same time, he was confident that he would willingly accept it. Welcome, Mr. Garkyu. A precious person has come, so please take care of me today as well. Yes, I will serve you with all my heart. Like that, Jiomuyjuk and Mabul sat across from each other on this floor. This is my regular place. I don't want to know. Why did you ask to see me? There are many reasons, but you won't believe them all, so if you give a reason to believe it, it's a kind of check. Containment. My brother started meeting my people. Then I want to show you that I too can meet people. The first person is an elderly person. Will anything change if we meet? I know you have strong feelings for your brother. What do you know? Didn't you show me the day your brother came back? At that time, I felt great love for my brother. When Jiomuyjuk tried to pour him a drink, Mabul took the bottle and drank it himself. Don't say that you know me. Mabul emptied his glass and drank it, followed by a sword dance. This time, Jiomuyjuk tried to pour him a drink, but Mabul filled his own glass. There will be times when you have a hard time because your brother is selfish. Please take good care of Mason. You are such a pretentious person. Did you think I would be moved by saying something like that? That's not why I cursed at my brother behind his back. He's a selfish person. Mabul praised Jiomuyang as if the estrangement did not work. Your brother is a brilliant man. The humanity is a bit lacking. It's okay. Because people who are going to do great things should not be guided by personal feelings. Sometimes they will ignore their elders. It's okay. You will become the heavenly demon someday, so what's the point of ignoring me? You might break important promises. The words and actions of the heavenly demon are the law. Important or unimportant, promise or not. All of that is decided by the heavenly demon. You are truly impregnable. I envy my older brother who has the elderly on his side. I will drink this drink with respect for my elders. Jeongyu emptied his drink. Mabul curled one corner of his mouth and sneered. I admit that Li Gongya has good skills in dealing with people. Still, you won't be able to appease me. I am a different person from Thomas or the leader of the Punctuan Church. I know. As I said before, I have no intention of making the elderly person my person. Why are you like this? I want to know who you are. I was curious about who was protecting my brother by his side. And I came to a conclusion. How? Mabul was curious about how Li Gongya would evaluate him. If you hurt your feelings, you will be the biggest idiot in our school. Mabul snorted and emptied his glass. Jiomuyjuk tried to pour drinks again. This time I didn't take the bottle, Jiamujuk said while pouring drinks. When I look at the elderly, I think of them as little giants. He is greater than anyone else. The power of words is truly scary. Even though I knew it was clearly meant to flatter me, I couldn't stop feeling good. I especially like the expression little giant. There was a time when I thought of myself like that, but no one ever called me that. Fearing that his true feelings would be revealed, Mabul glared at Jiamujuk with an even more disapproving expression. Perhaps knowing that feeling, Jiamujuk said something unexpected. Please take care of my brother. Are you asking for the Archduke? What does that mean? I plan to stop killing each other in succession battles in this generation. To do that, we shouldn't treat each other emotionally, but my brother has a strong pride, so it will be difficult to control that. Please have an elderly person nearby to help you. If you are an elder, you will be able to stop your brother even if he runs away. Mabul, who was glaring at Sword Dance, said coldly. You don't know anything about me. If the Archduke goes on a rampage, I will pour oil on him. You can't become a successor with a small explosion, so I'll encourage you to blow up everything. So, if you are looking for a way to live through me, I tell you to wake up from your dream. Mabul got up from his seat. Mabul, who was about to leave, spoke one last word. If you believe you can choose a successor peacefully, you are either a fool or a crazy person. Seeing as everyone who knows me says I'm crazy, I'm probably crazy. Mabul, who was staring at the Sword Dance, spoke firmly. I hate crazy people. Mabul went down to the first floor. Jiamujuk looked down at Cho Chun Bae, who was sitting at the checkout counter. He was dozing off even when Mabul passed by him, trying to freak him out later. Well, it's inevitable that you'll be tired and sleepy even if it's not Mabul but Grandpa Mabul that comes. Jiamujuk's eyes, which were looking at Cho Chun Bae, turned to the outside of the bar. In the distance, a golden glow was walking towards the horizon. It was half the height of an average person, but the shadow stretched in the sunset light was large and long. Episode 93. The villains get along well. Instead of going to his residence, Mabul went to Jiamuyang again. After seeing Jiamujuk, I wanted to see Jiamuyang one more time. I felt like I would fall asleep if I had to watch more. Are you here? He was always upright and polite. Since we met earlier and then broke up, why did you come again? I had to ask, but Jiamuyang did not often reveal her personal curiosity or feelings. So much so that I think there might be an obsession with having to do that in order to become a heavenly demon. There was no day when I felt that distance more clearly than today, but I wasn't one to be swayed by something like this. Gongya Li came to visit. Is it non-stop? Yes. Okay. Jiamuyang did not ask what they discussed when they met. I just nodded once. Why don't you ask? Why did you come and what did you talk about? It's okay. I trust you. Mabul felt that he had come to the right place for Jiamuyang. Yes, the Archduke is really this kind of person. He is not delicate and blunt, but he is like Jin Guk. Yes, let me believe it too. This is how we solve everything. Mabul tried to release all the accumulated emotions. I brushed off everything, including meeting with the leader of the Puncheon cult and offering to give Hyolkian Doma the position of First Magan. Then rest. Mabul got up from his seat. I wish it had ended here. I wish I had just left it to myself to throw away all this emotional debris. Jiamuyang spoke from behind. The reason I offered the position of First Magan to Hyolkian Doma was to appease him. Mabul was startled and stopped moving. Why now? Why now? Why are you saying this after meeting the Sword Dance when you didn't do it when you wanted it so much? Mabul didn't turn around right away for fear that his deep inner feelings would be revealed on his face. From behind, Jiamuyang spoke again. When I become the heavenly demon, the First Magan will naturally become an elder. Mabul was angry. It occurred to me that he was saying this because he was impatient because he thought Jiamujuk might try to appease him after treating him like a fish he had caught so far. Why do you make me feel this way? You say you trust me. Even though I tried to understand it because it was normal, I was upset. Grand Duke, weren't you the person who ignored your younger brother? Wasn't he a man who was confident in his actions? But I couldn't be angry. Because he was the one who tried to show how much sword dance drama had changed by mobilizing the Yunnan twins. That's right, your younger brother is someone you have to be nervous about. But there was no need for it to lead to distrust of oneself. Mabul smiled and turned around. Of course I knew you would. I'm worried that you might misunderstand my feelings because I'm saying this right after I met my younger brother. Oh, I shouldn't have said this either. If that were the case, it would have been just a coincidence, or out of insensitivity, or maybe he had misunderstood. I would have forced myself to think that way. What misunderstanding could I have? I'm just grateful that you value me. It's natural. Don't say things like that. Then I'll just leave. With that, Mabul bowed politely and left Jiomuyang's residence. Today, when Mabul returned to his residence after walking alone on a dark road without moonlight, he organized his thoughts like this. That's because I'm still young. If you are as perfect as a scientist, why do you need me? A master craftsman with weaknesses is better than a master craftsman like a snake. I just need to take a good look at it. His loyalty to Jiomuyang was as bright as the radiance emanating from his body. Ilgwa Jiomzan came to visit me at Hwangkyonggak office. Now this is a gift. She held out a flower pot in full bloom. Thank you. You are pretty. I put the flower pot by the window. As I was exchanging a few words with her about flowers, Seo Dae-ryong came in with tea. Feeling playful, I spoke solemnly to Seo Dae-ryong. From now on, it will be Inspector Seo's responsibility to take care of those flowers when I'm away. It's a special gift from Jeomjin, but you know what happens if you kill that flower, right? If it had been just the two of them, all kinds of gloomy yet funny things would have come out, but because Iltwa Jeomjin was there, Seo Dae-ryong obediently answered yes and left. We had all gone together when we visited the leader of the Pungcheon Church, but Iltwa Jeomjin was still very difficult for Seo Dae-ryong. I don't know if you came to visit me while I was busy. No. It's the investigator's job, I'm just fooling around. There were too many documents piled up on my desk to say that. There was a lot of work to be done at Hwangkyonggak. No matter how many times we put them in, the Evilders kept coming out. The number of Evilders may have been fixed to begin with. I even thought that if one person vacated the position would automatically be filled. But no matter how busy he was, Hwangkyonggak work was as important as becoming a successor. Because I have the task of a lifetime to kill Fire Mugi, but at the same time, I am living in this era. Your brother visited you too, right? I guessed correctly the reason for her visit today. Okay. I came looking for you. You're so diligent, my brother. That's why it's so popular. I nodded in approval. Although he was mean and harsh to me, his external appearance was different. There was no arrogance or complacency, thinking that since he was the Archduke, he should naturally become the successor. One way or another, he thinks a lot, and above all, is a diligent person. I know there are many people who like you. The Archduke is someone who gets along well with our school. If you leave it to me, there is a sense of stability that it will somehow lead well. What about me? You really don't fit in. Where on earth will it lead us? It actually makes me anxious. But seeing that it is this popular. After a moment, Ilgwa Jeomzan continued. I think there is hope for us too. What hope? I hope that the new magic island you mentioned can be established. Thank you for a good look. But don't forget. There are still many people at our school who dislike change. There are many people who believe that evil is our strength and essence. I'll keep that in mind. Anyway, are you going to just watch while the Archduke moves so quickly? I don't know much about other Masons other than the Elder Doma and the two seniors. I don't know who to bring to our side. I was curious about what Ilgwa Jeomzan was thinking, so I pretended like I didn't know anything. Then she said something unexpected. Do you know who voted for Kyeongseon instead of me and Doma when electing the Sia Farmazan? The one Thomas persuaded. I do not know. The old man didn't tell me. Shall I tell you? Originally, events and decisions made among the Mason were kept completely secret from the outside world. She is trying to break that rule for me. Can you tell me? It won't work. But why? I'm trying to live by breaking the rules, too. And then he smiled. How could someone like this be only halfway through? Actually, I am a stubborn and inflexible person. If there are set rules, they don't tend to break them. If I have an appointment with someone, I have to arrive early, and if I'm misunderstood, I'm the type of person who can't sleep because I'm worried. I have a lot of worries that I don't have to worry about, and I'm sensitive to the world's evaluation of me. I have a tiring personality for one reason or another. Isn't that fatigue what created your current reputation? Ilwa Jeomsun smiled bitterly. I guess that was the case in some way. Anyway, I'm trying to be more flexible now. How about breaking some rules? If it helps you, it's worth it. Is there any reason why you changed your mind? As I get older, I keep looking back on my life. I regret this, I regret that, I regret everything in my life, but this is what I regret the most. Chang. She gently drew her sword. Her eyes turned to the blade. I have dedicated my life to making sure that no one breaks this sword. Instead, my life became that much harder. She lifted her gaze from the sword and looked at me. It's such a pity that I have lived my life so rigidly. I felt that she truly regretted it. I spoke softly, as if comforting her. Are you sad that no one seems to know about that life? I lived my life so thoroughly, but I felt like no one really understood it. Everyone is doing well, but you wonder if I'm alone in feeling regretful. Then, surprise appeared on Ilwa Jeomsun's face. How do you really know my heart so well? It's a feeling I felt at least once. It's because I respect my senior a lot. Ilwa Jeomsun said with a wide smile. Yes, I have to tell you. There is someone who understands my feelings so well and respects me, so what kind of rule can I keep hiding? The person who voted in favor is the atrocious Soma. I was surprised by her words. Isn't it amazing? Yes. Isn't Extreme Soma from your brother's side? That's right. It was unexpected. It was surprising that the extreme evil demon took our side, and it was even more surprising that the blood heavenly demon persuaded him. Ilwa Jeomsun interpreted this part as follows. They're both villains, so they probably got along well. I chuckled, but she was serious. I'm telling you that it's an incident involving Extreme Soma, in case other people don't know. Because I am not a person who is easy to see. Maybe Thomas has other thoughts. I asked with a smile. Do you hate old man Thomas that much? I'm not hateful. Because hating means having some kind of strong emotion. I just don't like it. She stood up, struggling to push Thomas out of her life. Then I guess I'll just go. Thank you for providing important information. Think of it as a gift from your best friend. As she was about to leave, Seo Dae-ryong was standing in the hallway holding a water bottle for the flower pot. On the other hand, it was an effort to impress Ilwa Jeomsun, but the problem was that she became a little sensitive when she mentioned Doma. Ilwa Jeomsun spoke coldly to Seo Dae-ryong, who had now become a disciple of the villain Doma from an investigator at Hwangkyongak. That flower is my favorite flower. If I were to die because of someone else's mistake, I would be very sad. When she left, Seo Dae-ryong became tearful. From now on, I am the third most important person in this office. From now on, that flower's name will be Lee In-jae. I laughed at his self-deprecating joke and left the office. Where are you going? To meet the evil Soma. OMG. You're saying such scary things as if you were going to eat. Are you afraid of Extreme Soma? Seo Dae-ryong asked with his eyes wide open in surprise. Then you're not scared? Of all the Masons at our school, I am most afraid of the evil Soma. You said before that the Soul Mason was the scariest, right? Because he's dead now. Why is Extreme Soma so scary? Because the word extreme evil is attached to it. Didn't you hear? When Extreme Soma gets angry, it's really scary. When I get angry, I get scared too. I think you're the one I'm most afraid of. Please leave me out. I am a person who goes alone when I get angry. My dream is to live without ever getting angry. He was that kind of person. He knew and I knew that he had changed quite a bit now, so we looked at each other and laughed. Are you really not scared? Why am I scared when I go see funny people? Are you saying you're a funny person? It's a cow, right? In the face of the extreme evil, people often forget that he is Soma. The same was true for Seo Dae-ryong. It won't be a laughing cow. If you peel off the sign that will make you laugh, you will see written underneath it something like a cow to be burned, a cow to be torn to shreds, a cow to be torn to death, etc. OMG. I'm sure you're not trying to attract the evil Soma to our side, are you? Please say no. Are you afraid that he is your enemy? Are you afraid of being an ally? Of course. But it's not possible to use Extreme Soma. Even though I said that, I know better than anyone else that the evil Soma is someone who can never be an ally. Nevertheless, the reason I go to meet him is to make him neither an ally nor an enemy. Episode 94, Because we know, we fight. Before going to meet the extreme evil demon, I stopped by the Blood Heaven demon's residence. I had something to check with him. Hyul Kyondoma was sitting by the window, reading a book in the warm sunlight. You really read books on a regular basis? You're bluffing. When I hear your footsteps from afar, I run to the bookshelf. He asked, putting down the book. What brings you here? Instead of going inside, I stood outside the window and spoke to him. I came to ask you about a person. Who? Do you know about Extreme Soma? At that moment, I felt the Hyul Kyondoma startle. Why are you asking him? I was wondering if they would draw him to our side. Hyul Kyondoma's expression frowned slightly. Shit. It's like a woman with a dirty mouth. What do you mean? Don't act like a fool. Hyul Kyondoma was so perceptive that he noticed that Ilwa Jeomjin had mentioned that fact. Since he wasn't the type of person to go around talking about this anyway, I spoke comfortably. It was Jeomjin who told me that it was not he who persuaded me in the first place, but the elder. For the elderly. It's not for me. It's because I have moral insularity. If you know each other so well, why are you fighting so much? Where were strangers fighting? So, let's fight. I couldn't refute this, so I burst out laughing. So what do you want to ask? How did you convince Extreme Soma? The reason I met Hyul Kyondoma today was to ask that question. Then a surprising fact was revealed. He came to me first. Extreme Soma came first. Okay. Do you think I would have gone to that unpleasant guy and asked him for a favor? Senior Jeomjin is wrong. What did you say? I said persuasion would have worked because they were the same villain. What? Are you uniting me with that guy? Hyul Kyondoma was upset and jumped up. It may seem like I'm telling you for nothing, but this is also part of my effort to reconcile the two. We have to keep mentioning each other like this. We are not forgetting each other. They still hate me. This way, when the opportunity comes, all these pieces will be able to come together and make peace. There is no reconciliation that happens suddenly one day. What conditions did you put on? He said he would give me a blue line and ask him to help me later when I ask for help. Did you accept it knowing what you would ask for later? I'm going to ask for something for me. If you ask me to do something ridiculous, just don't listen. Why don't you at least show me some condescension? Because of you, I have a debt to pay off. What should I do? Why were you just there? What condescension? When I first saw him, Hyul Kyondoma was a very calculating and meticulous person. A person who seems like he will pay all kinds of condescension and accept it all. However, when I opened the door of my heart and entered, there was another blood vessel. A man who enjoys reading a book in the sunlight, throwing away anything condescending. You have to show respect for the elderly so that the other person knows. You don't have to know. And it didn't feel like he was helping me with this to ask me for anything in particular. Do you really need Extreme Soma for me? Hyul Kyondoma looked at me with an expression that said, that's not true even if you look at it. If that hunch is right, why did he help us? Anyway, thank you. I will go see Extreme Soma. As I said goodbye, Hyul Kyondoma reopened the book he had closed as if he had been waiting. Aren't you worried that I'm going to meet Extreme Soma? Who? You? Or Extreme Soma? I smiled and turned around. After leaving the abode of Hyul Kyondoma, I headed to Akingok, located in the northeast of Nawon. Akingok, as its name suggests, was a valley. It was not a natural valley, but an artificially created valley, and along the stream there were large and small shelters lined up on either side of the stream. Although it appears to have been erected irregularly in a random place, it was a type of fortress built with thorough planning in response to external invasions, in line with the skills and status of the insurgents. At the entrance to the Wicked Valley, I was informed that I had come to visit the extremely evil Soma, and a masked visitor wearing a white mask guided me. The underlings of Extreme Soma are called the Faceless. They all wore masks, which were white masks with only eye holes. The eye sockets were shaped like a smiling crescent moon lying down. The eye sockets were smiling, but the real eyes inside were not smiling, so looking at the mismatched mask gave me an eerie feeling. In the deepest part of the valley was the abode of Extreme Evil Soma. The building was modeled after a white mask. There was a single window where the eyes were, and it appears that this may be the abode of the extremely evil Soma. Feeling like I was being swallowed by a diabolical Soma, I walked into the mouth that was not on the mask. As I went up the stairs that went round and round, I found Extreme Soma's room. The moment I entered his room, the feeling I felt was eerie. The walls on all sides and even the floor were painted white, but there was nothing in the room. There was no table, no cabinet, not even a chair or cushion. In a space where there was absolutely nothing, there was only Extreme Soma standing there. He was looking at the wall, wearing a white robe, and if it weren't for the black hair that was visible on the back of his head, he was so absorbed in the space that you wouldn't even know he was standing there. Even after I came in, he was still looking at the wall, so I walked slowly and stood next to him. "What are you looking at?" Extreme Soma turned his head towards me. He was wearing a white mask like a masked stranger, and his eyes were clear and cold inside his smiling eye sockets. The specially made mask of Extreme Evil Soma was made so that his eyes could not be seen from the outside, but my divine eye technique allowed me to see his eyes clearly through the darkness. Finally, Extreme Soma answered. "I wasn't seeing anything." His deep, deep voice was pleasant to listen to, and his tall stature and long limbs gave the impression that he was tall. And he was polite, not befitting the name Extreme Soma. He was so polite yet creepy that he gave off this kind of feeling. "Long time no see. Elderly. In fact, you could say that this is my first time in this life. This is my first time meeting you in person, other than seeing you from afar at an official event." "You mean you are an old man?" "I am still young, so please treat me comfortably as a friend." How many people have been deceived by those words and left this world? Extreme Soma laughed. As his name suggests, he was a person who laughed a lot. "What about Li Gongya? Are you usually deceived? Or do you tend to cheat?" "If I had to be honest, I tend to pretend to be deceived." Extreme Soma laughed out of habit. "Isn't it difficult to always smile like that?" At that moment, something came out of his eyes from the gaping hole. "Why is it hard to smile? I thought it might be harder to laugh than to cry. It's easy to live crying, but it's difficult to live smiling, isn't it?" Finally, someone who understands my hardships has appeared. Still, he laughed again. This time he laughed loudly and exaggeratedly, like a street actor. I don't believe in his laughter. That smile is like a tentacle attached to the head of a fish living in the deep sea. If you get distracted by the colorful tentacles gently waving, you will soon find yourself being sucked into a large mouth. It must never be forgotten. I'm not smiling because I like you. Why did you come to see me, Gongya Lee? I couldn't reveal that Iltwa Jiamzone broke the rules and told me the details of the vote. You've never had a conversation like this with an elderly person before, right? So, I came to see you to learn what kind of person you are. To be honest, I came here with the hope that you would support me, not my brother. Shall we walk for a while? Extreme Soma slowly walked along the white wall. When I organize my thoughts, I walk like this. I also walked after him. The string that held the mask swung loudly on the back of my head. No one in Murim could untie that knot, which could be undone even if a child pulled on it. He said as he walked. If you answer one question, I will think positively about supporting a scientist. Please speak. How did you kill the Subsoul Mason? He asked this important question casually, and I followed him and answered calmly. I didn't kill the Soul Mason. No. Obviously you killed it. What I'm curious about is not whether he was killed or not. How did you kill him? He was convinced that I had killed him. I will keep this a secret from anyone else. Just tell me. I'll give you another vote like I did for Kyongseon. I'll say it again, I didn't kill him. Then, Extreme Soma suddenly stopped, turned back, and walked towards me with long strides. He came up to me and held out his hand. Let's be friends. I know very well that he is a person who behaves unexpectedly like this. And this is the second time I hear this from him. When I returned to our school to look for materials for the Great Recurrence Method, I came into contact with Extreme Soma. He said the same thing to me back then. I don't like it. Why don't you like it? Because everyone who became friends with him is dead. Except for one person. There are 3 reasons why we can't be friends. Oh, are there 3 reasons? He actively showed his curiosity. What is the first reason? If we stay as friends, someday I will make a mistake. A comfortable mind will eventually lead to rudeness. Respect will prevent me from making mistakes. What if I make a little mistake? That's right, as long as the opponent isn't an extremely evil Soma, it'll be fine. Extreme Soma laughed loudly. He's a more interesting person than the rumors about our scientist. Then what is the second reason? Because nether footnotes and Extreme Soma do not go well together. It is said that evil and good are like two sides of a coin. Learning evil from me will help you preserve good. That word was probably made up by the evil side. What does it mean? How can good and evil be as close together as the two sides of a coin? Evil would be at the bottom of the bottomless pit, and goodness would be at the top of that high mountain. It is probably just a word made up by evil people to justify themselves. Of course, what he said earlier is a metaphor used to mean that good and evil can coexist within a person. But I deliberately kept them at a distance, talking only about good and evil. Then you will think that I am a hypocrite. It can't be. How can a person who proudly attaches evil to his nickname be a hypocrite? So you think I'm cool? Evil can never be cool under any circumstances. The only time evil is cool is when it overpowers other evils. He laughed. He laughed, but his eyes were cold in the eye sockets. If it weren't for Shinansel, I wouldn't have known. It's amazing that someone can smile so excitedly and have such sunken eyes. The rumors were true. What rumor are you talking about? The rumor is that Li Gongye has become a stubborn and stuffy political slut. If you feel that way, it's probably because of this. At some point, we became worse than those stubborn and stuffy political faction brats. So, I think I'll try to correct it now. Extreme Soma, who was laughing softly, asked, "Is this the new magic that Gongye Li dreams of?" You could say so. Then you can never coexist with me. I will continue to support the Archduke. I guess it can't be helped. Then I'll just head back. I bowed politely and turned around. Then he asked from behind, "What is the third reason?" I stopped walking toward the door and turned to him. I am not friends with people wearing masks. It was a moment when he should have laughed, but he didn't. I saw. Although he didn't laugh out loud, his eyes were smiling in their sockets. It means he's really angry. Until now, he has never taken off his mask in front of anyone. Therefore, of course, no one has seen his face under that mask. No one knew what he looked like or how old he was. Taking off your mask is a taboo and disgusting. But even he showed his face to others only once in his life. To me before my return, who came to get Darfar materials. To me, the only one who survived even after becoming friends with him. I saw the face behind that mask. Episode 95, that's it. The air around me became heavy and stuffy due to my provocation. The demonic energy that flowed from the body of extreme evil Soma took control of the surroundings. His magic energy was special. The reason why it was given the nickname of extreme evil was precisely because of this evil energy called the evil spirit. Soksim awakened the fundamental violence of humans. When you are exposed to small evil mind, your heart beats violently and you want to kill someone. In fact, if his strength was weak, he would pull out his sword and stab the person next to him to death. Experts with high resistance also find it difficult to fight normally due to the influence of their evil spirit. There are two faces inside this mask. If Li Gongye wakes up with a face other than the one I've seen so far, even I won't be able to handle it. So it's hard to take off the mask. If the face I've seen so far is Soma, then the other faces would represent extreme evil. I didn't mean to be rude to Soma. However, I think that a friend should be able to see 2 or 3 faces without fault. I said this out of curiosity, so please forgive me if I was rude. Even before my regression, I was exposed to this small evil mentality. At that time, I had not learned the Kionma self-defense technique, so I had a really hard time enduring it. But it was different now. Naturally, the heavenly demon self-defense technique was activated and blocked his evil spirit. Although my heavenly demon defense technique has not yet reached its peak, I have reached a level where I can easily block the evil spirit that is being unleashed. Instead of increasing his evil spirit even more, extreme evil Soma slowly withdrew his demonic energy. The smiling eyes in the eye sockets gradually turned cold. The fact that he stopped laughing means that he has calmed down his anger. As expected, the scientist is amazing. It doesn't seem at all disturbed by my small-mindedness. I was trained to have an evil mind and read my mind from a young age. You know, right? My brother was at least as harsh on me. Extreme Soma laughed out loud. As if I had never created such tension, he was back to the way he was when I first saw him. As expected, Gongya Lee is an interesting person. It's too bad we couldn't become friends. Then I'll just leave. As I was about to open the door and go out, Extreme Soma spoke. As expected, I believe that Gongya Lee killed the former Seoul Mason. You misunderstand. I did not deny it outright. This tension between him and me was the most important factor in maintaining my relationship with him. As the door closed, I could see Extreme Soma left alone in the white room. I met Seo Dae-ryong at the entrance of Akingok. Investigator Seo, what are you doing here? I'm in training. I was running for physical training. Why, in front of a wicked song? It just so happened to be like that. Did you try to jump in and save me if it was dangerous? He was even holding a long sword that he used during training. Is this touching? Because it's not. How can I get through that? That's why it's touching. You came to save me even though you knew I was going to die. I just came here. If I hear any fighting in there, I will let Master know. As expected, he's smart. Of course it should be. You shouldn't jump in and die in vain when you're not good enough. My right-hand man is so wise, so what should I worry about? Seo Dae-ryong belatedly breathed a sigh of relief, perhaps relieved that I had come out safely. Wow, my legs are still shaking. Even the head of state was a little worried. Investigator Seo. Yes. Please continue to worry about me from now on. Yes? I ask you to worry. Because I too can make mistakes, and do stupid things. Please continue to worry and ask for help. Seo Dae-ryong smiled slightly. Well, if the right arm doesn't do it, who will? The left arm will do it. Are you going to ruin this good mood like that? As the two of them walked out, playing around with each other, they stopped and looked up at the tree above their heads. What are you doing there? Surprisingly, there was a blood-chopping board sitting on a tree branch. Watching the sunset. Why here? I'm going to keep an eye on my student to see if he's playing around. At that moment, Seo Dae-ryong was surprised. Tears welled up in my eyes as I looked up at the blood-cheon chopping block blankly. This was the first time that Hyul Kyondoma called himself a disciple. Master! Thank you, Master. Seo Dae-ryong's voice was wet. Hyul Kyondoma, who was disgusted by this kind of atmosphere, shouted. What are you staring at? If you come to practice, you have to run. Yes. Master. Seo Dae-ryong started running. Seeing as he forgot to say hello to me, I guess he was really touched when he told me that Hyul Kyondoma was his disciple. I flew up and landed next to the branch where he was sitting. This guy is breaking. I will be as light as a feather. Even though two people were sitting on it, the thin tree branch did not break. Well done. Good job. You've seen that I like it, right? So you shouldn't delay. Just say everything at the time, be condescending, and hate when people hate you. That's how it should be. Are young people educating old people? Yes. You have to learn. That way, I can live with the younger kids. If you can't even talk. We looked at each other and laughed. If you're this worried about me, please tell me. I came here because I was afraid of making him angry. When that vicious guy gets angry, his eyes really turn upside down. Have you seen it? I saw it once. I really don't think anyone could stop me. Yes, I know what that looks like. It is true that no one can stop it. If it were you, I somehow thought he might have gone crazy. Why me? Because you really piss people off. How could it be any different from an extremely evil Soma? Luckily it wasn't that bad today. Because you are the son of the cult leader, you were able to come out without seeing blood. Otherwise, one of them would have died. Thank you for your concern, old man. What is gratitude? Let's go. The sunset is over there. Let's take a moment and go. Getting old is sad, but what about sunsets? Hyul Kyondoma quickly jumped away and left the place. Left alone, I sat on a tree branch and watched the setting sun for a while. Suddenly, I remembered the last appearance of Extreme Soma before returning. The sight of his eye sparkling with halo. I do not remember. When I was young and playing with my friends, did I want to kill the tagger? Since when did I start being like this? Do you regret it? Living an evil life. What is regret? I regret not being able to kill more people. I'm so scared that I'm going to go to hell. Ah. Frustrated. Please take off the mask. Thank you. Is this your first time with my face? I must have heard that you were handsome when you were young. Why did you spend your whole life using it? My teacher asked me when he chose me when I was young. If you follow him, you will never be able to take off this mask for the rest of your life. Do you think you can? Instead, he said he would allow him to live a life of killing people to his heart's content. I said I would do it without hesitation. Ah. Now that I think about it, I've been like that since then. That's why Master recognized me. After Master died, you had a chance to at least take off your mask, right? You will know when you try it. Once you use it, you can't take it off. I feel at ease. Wear a mask and kill again. Kill. Later, the mask was killing people. Wherever you go, do you make excuses and fall asleep? You killed them all. Did you notice? Ha 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 cough. It's hard to really smile. This mask has become my symbol, so how can I take it off? Are you going to send a letter to the martial arts world saying that you will take off your mask starting today? Hey Moochel. Ah, I guess Moochel wasn't your name either. What is your real name? Have you ever thought of me as a friend? You bastard. When you get to hell, you will die by my hands. Yes, then take revenge to your heart's content. I was in so much pain from a while ago. Now draw your sword, friend. Bye. Extreme Soma died in my hands. At that time, there was no choice but to eliminate him in the process of obtaining Darfa materials. He was a villain who deserved to die, but at the moment of his death, he considered me a friend. I never told him I was a friend. Maybe I was more of a villain at that moment. My father willingly allowed us to play the game even on a sudden visit. Usually I just played Bardock quietly, but today I talked a lot. I met Mabul the other day. I said things I didn't mean, thought about the person, and tried to find out seriously what kind of person he was. My father didn't respond and just focused on go. Normally, he would have yelled at me for being so noisy, but today he stayed quiet. My father noticed. My son came because he was distraught and wanted to talk about various things. I continued talking. Today I met the evil Soma again. I hate that person. It's not because I support my brother, but because I think he's crazy for killing people while laughing. My father said as he picked up a Bardock stone. Make death stones only here. The message was not to kill any more Masons. When the Seob Honmazon died, he was told not to kill any more, but he emphasized it again. What if I have to kill Extreme Soma again? What if it's fate like that again? I thought that he and I were bound by a truly strong bond. I just hope that doesn't happen in this life. Do I have the skills to kill Extreme Soma? Anyway, the reason I go to meet the Megans is... I continued speaking again. I'm trying to say everything I want to say when you listen obediently like this. It was for me and it was also for my brother. When I first went hunting, I shouted loudly that I would force all the Masons to kneel and line up, but when I actually encountered them, it wasn't that easy. Your father is right. Dealing with people is the most difficult job in the world. My father didn't say anything and just played Bardock. It looks like you decided to just listen today. Please do not misunderstand that just because I look like this, I am not suitable to be your successor. If you think about all this in advance, you will emerge stronger later. It's a long-awaited opportunity, so why don't you curse at your brother? I'm not going to curse at my brother for the time being. It's a lot of trouble to float gracefully like a swan. It's so hard to keep moving your feet under the water. You're not the type of person to come and confess like me, are you? For a moment, I saw my father laughing. It was a very subtle and quick change, but my new eye technique has now taken hold. As expected, as we chat, the game of Bardock becomes more and more disadvantageous. Now let's focus. I was so absorbed in Bardock. I asked as we finished. Can I visit you sometimes when I don't know what to do? My father's hand, which was about to place the stone, paused in midair for a moment. Isn't it a foul? What if I ask the referee for an answer? Don't think of it as a judgment, but just think of it as giving a lesson, right? My father put down the Bardock stone. The training is fun. He didn't say yes or no directly, but he did say that he would allow it. I know. Even if you treat me well like this, it is different from choosing a successor. Even tomorrow, he is the one who can say, the successor is your older brother. As for the results of Go, I barely beat 2 houses. Are you getting more and more skilled? Isn't that why you don't put Simon military to sleep? This is a foul. Aren't you in the military too? I can't play Barduck. Where in the world is there a soldier who can't play Barduck? Now that I think about it, that's true. I've never seen a soldier who couldn't play Barduck, even in a storybook. I guess I was deceived by a soldier who can't even play Barduck. My father chuckled at my joke. Then I'll see you next month. As I was leaving after saying hello to my father asked me from behind, "Is your luggage heavy?" The moment I heard those words, my heart was pounding. It was the first time I heard words of comfort from my father. I would be lying if I said it was as light as a feather, but it's not so heavy that I couldn't hold it. Then that's it. That's it then. Why is this word so good to hear these days? If someone recognizes my efforts, then that's okay. Episode 96, There Was Nothing at the End of Your Life. The next day, Extreme Soma came to visit me. The sight of him slowly crossing the Hwankiongak training ground while wearing a white mask created a truly overwhelming and terrifying feeling. Investigators and executioners couldn't even whisper from afar. Everyone breathlessly said hello and passed by. I was even more afraid than when Hyolkiondaman or Ilhwajiamjan came. I was standing at the office window and watching. Seo Daeryong, who was next to him, spoke in a trembling voice. What on earth happened yesterday that brought that scary person to the headquarters? Inspector Seo, the scariest place in our school is our Hwankiongak. Why are you leaving when people who come here should leave? Yes, let's say so. Is this a situation where I need to evacuate or not? Please let me know, considering the affection we have had so far. Please? Seeing that he has time to make jokes like this, he must be learning martial arts well from Doma. Well, I'm doing my best, so I expect to see a transformation soon. It was only yesterday that I asked you to keep worrying about me. I will worry about you from afar like I did yesterday. Go and bring him. The right arm has to go. I just hope that Extreme Soma doesn't know that I am Garkyu's right-hand man. Just like that, Seo Daeryong went out and my eyes turned to Extreme Soma again. I knew you would come for me, but I never thought you would come directly to Hwankian Pavilion so soon and in broad daylight. Acting suddenly based on instinct was no different then or now. That's why he's an interesting opponent and that's why it's difficult to deal with him. After a while, Seo Daeryong spoke outside the door. The extreme evil Mason has arrived. Take it. Soon after, Extreme Evil Soma came in, guided by Seo Daeryong. Welcome, old man. They say you're an elderly person again. I told you to treat me like a friend. That can't be possible. Then I will call you Soma-sama. Great. Extreme Soma laughed out loud. Extreme Soma's actions were natural, as if nothing had happened yesterday. When Seo Daeryong, who guided him, was about to leave, I spoke quickly. By the way, that guy over there is my right-hand man, Inspector Seo. Seo Daeryong screamed with his expression, and then when Extreme Evil Soma turned around, he greeted him with a calm face. This is Seo Daeryong. It is an honor to meet someone I respect. Oh, I'll remember that. Thank you. Seo Daeryong walked out with an expression like the end of the world. You will be screaming in your heart. Please don't remember. I laughed while looking at that. Extreme Soma suddenly asked. Don't you usually hide the people you care about? If the opponent is the enemy, then yes. Soma is not your enemy, is he? But we're not even friends yet. If someone wants to kill someone, no matter how tightly they hide it, will they be able to hide it? Soma, have you ever been unable to kill someone you tried to kill because they were hiding? Doesn't exist. That's right. I don't know when I will die anyway, so shouldn't I live my life as a proper right-hand man? There was a strange look in Extreme Soma's eyes. That sounds quite interesting. Extreme Soma stood up and looked around the office. I looked around at the documents piled up on my desk and the books in the closet, and smelled the scent of flowers in a flower pot by the window. It was the flower pot that Iltwa Geomsan gave as a gift. It smells good. I recently started liking flowers. We are the successors of the Heavenly Demon Church who love flowers. If the Murim Alliance invades, will we die in the flower fields? I responded calmly to his mocking words. It would be cool to die lonely in an unknown field, but isn't this okay too? What if the smell you smell at the last moment of your breath is not blood but the scent of flowers? Instead of answering whether it was good or bad, Extreme Soma burst into habitual laughter. But why did you come to see me? The evil Soma that was facing the flower turned towards me. Yesterday, after Gungzi Li passed away, I thought about it carefully and I was very disappointed that we couldn't be friends. Me too. So I came here to see if we could find a way to become friends. Welcome. So did you find a way? The way I thought was to give in one by one. How? I will yield to Li Gongya's perspective on good and evil. I will try to understand Li Gongya's new magic technique. Then what can I give up? Can you give in to what you said about being friends only when you take off your mask? Before that, let me ask you one thing. Why do you want to be friends with me? I want to live without fault with Li Gongya. Actually, I know why Extreme Soma is like this. First of all, I want to find out how the new Fonmazon was killed. When I returned to the main school, along with the Subsoul Mason, the extreme evil Soma was still alive. This is what I felt at that time. The worse you are, the longer you survive. Extreme evil Soma is also a person who values his life, so he will want to somehow find out how I killed the Subsoul Mason. If the Soul Mason suffered, he would think that he could suffer as well. Another reason is because of his personality. He is obsessed with people who provoke and intrigue him. They approach you, make you their friend, and when they get tired of it, they kill you right away. It was a pathological taste of his that only I knew about and that no one knew about. So, you shouldn't have any positive meaning when he says we should be friends. Let's be friends means I'm going to play with you and then kill you. These two reasons are what brought Extreme Soma to my office. This was the reason why he made me lie and say that he would understand my magic. I want to be friends with Li Gongya. Yes, I will be friends with him in this life too. When you become a friend, only then will you stand at a point where you are neither enemy nor ally. That person is called Extreme Soma. A person who can barely escape from being an enemy only by becoming a friend. Great. Let's make concessions to each other. Extreme Soma laughed loudly at my answer. It was a happy, loud laugh that anyone could hear, but I was looking into his eyes with my eyesight. He was looking at me with extremely cold eyes. Soma, there was nothing at the end of your life. He said he had no regrets until the moment he died, but that was a lie. Because the moment he remembered his childhood, he was already regretting it. The Hyalkian Doma is changing, the Iltwa Sword Zone is changing, and the Puncheon cult leader is changing, but this Extreme Soma will not change easily. Because I was born with an evil nature and was raised through brainwashing by my teacher from a young age. It was right then. Seo De Ryong's voice was heard outside. The Grand Duke has arrived. Take it. Extreme Soma said with a smile. I called. Are you calling your brother here while looking for me? This is truly something only the worst Soma can do. Should I try this? He was the type of person who, when he thought of something, would do it without any hesitation. Despite this unexpected personality, he was one of the Mason who survived to the end, showing how great his evil intentions were. After a while, Jiao Muyang came inside. He greeted Extreme Soma first. Long time no see, Soma. Welcome, Grand Duke. Now, I don't have to introduce you too, right? I matched his playful words to the beat. Maybe we brothers are the ones we should introduce to each other. I don't know as much as I thought. As I treated the extremely evil Soma with ease, a hint of tension flashed across Jiao Muyang's face. Go one step further. Extreme Soma said to Jiao Muyang. I was begging Li Gongya to be friends. I looked at Jiao Muyang's reaction to see how the evil Soma would come out. My brother reacted like a brother. Sometimes entertainment like this is necessary. Gumak Soma said with a smile at Jiao Muyang's reaction, which was completely undisturbed. That's why I plan to enjoy the entertainment with my younger brother. Our Archduke is so straight that it's not fun. Mujuk is so witty that he would definitely be a good friend. My brother is also going through a lot of hardships. I'm not the type of person to come and listen to people say things like that. He is putting up with it all because of his determination to become the successor. Yes, I'm good at it. Brother. If you lose your nerve here, you will lose at that moment. You're doing great. Perhaps aware of such feelings, extreme evil Soma stimulated Jiao Muyang. Gongya Lee came to visit me yesterday. He asked me to support him instead of my brother. Even though I was there, he didn't hesitate. Soma, you asked to be friends, but why are you alienating your brothers? We can't be good friends like this. Hearing my words, Extreme Soma laughed and said, there is nothing in the world more fun than conflict, so how can you tolerate it? Even if I can tolerate pooping, I can't tolerate that. If you want to fight against each other, do it with the Murim Alliance and the Apostolic Alliance, not with us. Even if I wanted to, I'm in a situation where I can't do that these days. Jia Muyang was just listening to our conversation from the side. He's probably just hoping that I'm going to cross the line. Now that the two of you are together in one place, can I ask you a question I've always been curious about? To Extreme Soma's question, my older brother responded obediently. Of course. Then I will ask the Archduke first. What will you do for me if I help the Archduke make you his successor? After all, an extremely evil Soma is an extremely evil Soma. How can you show such bad taste in front of the two of us? Jia Muyang answered calmly as if she had been prepared. We will triple our support for bad songs and lift the limit on the number of unsung singers. And we will lift the ban on excommunication currently imposed on Soma. There was a ban on the extremely evil Soma, prohibiting him from being excommunicated. This is because the year before last, there was an incident of massacre of Sado League warriors, which almost led to a war. At that time, they attacked first. It started like that, but it ended in massacre. After that, his father forbade him to go to the center for the time being. It's already been 2 years, and my body is itching to death. Oh, these are very attractive conditions. You're welcome. In addition, if there is anything Soma wants, I will fully support it. Extreme Soma laughed out loud. Does your brother know? Even though he smiles with such joy, his eyes underneath the mask are extremely cold. Now, this time I will ask Mr. Lee. What will you do for me if I help Gongzi Lee and turn him into a heavenly demon? They both wondered what my answer would be. I stared at the evil Soma and spoke softly. I will give you my life. The atmosphere froze for a moment. I should have said it was a joke, but this is what I added. We talked yesterday, right? What kind of new magic is I aiming for? But did you know what I would do to Soma, who is showing off extreme evil? Did you think they would at least support you? I will try to live even if it means bearing the political burden. My brother may be secretly happy. I thought I was ruining this great opportunity because of my youthful energy. But there is something my brother doesn't know. This extremely evil Soma becomes more attracted to the opponent when the opponent appears like this. As if to prove it, his eyes were shining brightly inside the gaping hole seen with the Shannon technique. I spoke to him colder than before. Suddenly playing with friends became no longer fun, right? Play that breaks formality too much will not end well in the end. So please don't ever ask me to be friends again. In a quiet atmosphere, Extreme Soma stood up. If we're not friends and we're together, we'll just end up fighting. See you next time then. After saying goodbye to Jia Muyang, Extreme Soma left the office. Just the two of us, Jia Muyang asked me. What on earth are you thinking? My brother knew that I was not the type of person to offend Extreme Soma so carelessly. Are you just pissed off? Your successors must show off to Parmesan. Come on, wag your tail. Then I will place you in the position of successor. Aren't you angry? My brother thought for a moment about what to say, then stood up and said, I always get the heat from you. After leaving those words, Jio Muyang also left the office. Soon after, Seo Daeryeon came in. Are you waiting outside because you're worried about me? Not Mr. Footnote. I was worried that it might have unleashed some demon energy and withered away. He was relieved to see the flowers in the flower pot. I smiled and stood next to him. Extreme Soma was seen walking out of the building. You look angry. Are you okay? I'm not angry. Can't you see those exciting steps? I don't know. It feels like I want to step on someone and kill them. If you're that worried, give away the flower pots tomorrow. That's right. Yes? Extreme Soma is coming again tomorrow. If you run away and say not to, the person who will chase you until the end is Extreme Soma. He is someone who has to make a decision one way or another. That person. After a moment, Seo Daeryeon asked. How are you holding up under all this pressure? I have a right arm, a left arm aiming for the right arm, a heart, wings, and now even a brain. What would be difficult for me? I added softly, looking at the back of Extreme Soma walking alone in the distance. It must be that evil, lonely soul that is having a hard time.